Proverbs 15 through 23 presents a rich collection of wisdom that speaks deeply to the heart, shaping both character and daily choices. These chapters emphasize the value of gentle words, humility, patience, and integrity, showing how they lead to peace and strength. They contrast the way of the wise with the path of folly, reminding us that true stability and joy come from aligning life with God's order. Here, we also find practical guidance on relationships, work, wealth, and self-control. Reminders that wisdom is not just lofty thought, but a way of living that touches every corner of life. At their core, these sayings encourage us to trust in God's justice, walk in righteousness, and embrace discipline as a friend that leads to greater blessing.
Proverbs 15. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. A fool despiseth his father's instruction, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent. In the house of the righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the foolish doeth not so. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. The way of the wicked is an abomination unto the Lord, but he loveth him that followeth after righteousness. Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, and he that hateth reproof shall die. Hell and destruction are before the Lord, how much more then the hearts of the children of men? A scorner loveth not one that reproveth him, neither will he go unto the wise. A merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of the heart the spirit is broken. The heart of him that hath understanding seeketh knowledge, but the mouth of fools feedeth on foolishness. All the days of the afflicted are evil, but he that is of a merry heart hath a continual feast. Better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble therewith. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is, than a stalled ox and hatred therewith. A wrathful man stirreth up strife, but he that is slow to anger appeaseth strife. The way of the slothful man is as an hedge of thorns, but the way of the righteous is made plain. A wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish man despiseth his mother. Folly is joy to him that is destitute of wisdom, but a man of understanding walketh uprightly. Without counsel purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counselors they are established. A man hath joy by the answer of his mouth, and a word spoken in due season, how good is it? The way of life is above to the wise, that he may depart from hell beneath. The Lord will destroy the house of the proud, but he will establish the border of the widow. The thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to the Lord, but the words of the pure are pleasant words. He that is greedy of gain troubleth his own house, but he that hateth gifts shall live. The heart of the righteous studieth to answer, but the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things. The Lord is far from the wicked, but he heareth the prayer of the righteous. The light of the eyes rejoiceth the heart, and a good report maketh the bones fat. The ear that heareth the reproof of life abideth among the wise. He that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul, but he that heareth reproof getteth understanding. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. Proverbs 15 underscores the transformative power of words, attitudes, and humility. A gentle response can dissolve conflict, while harsh speech fuels it. The chapter also highlights God's constant awareness. His eyes see both the righteous and the good, and His delight in sincere prayers over empty rituals. Relationships and character matter more than wealth. Love with simple food is better than luxury with strife. The fear of the Lord is shown as the path to wisdom, but humility must precede honor. This chapter invites us to measure our lives not by material gain, but by how well we cultivate peace, receive correction, and walk in righteousness before God.
Proverbs 16. The preparations of the heart in man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. The Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. Every one that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished. By mercy and truth iniquity is purged, and by the fear of the Lord men depart from evil. When a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. Better is a little with righteousness than great revenues without right. A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps. A divine sentence is in the lips of the king. His mouth transgresseth not in judgment. A just weight and balance are the Lord's. All the weights of the bag are his work. It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. Righteous lips are the delight of kings, and they love him that speaketh right. The wrath of a king is as messengers of death, but a wise man will pacify it. In the light of the king's countenance is life, and his favor is as a cloud of the latter rain. How much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding rather to be chosen than silver. The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He that keepeth his way preserveth his soul. Pride goeth before destruction, and an haughty spirit before a fall. Better it is to be of an humble spirit with the lowly, than to divide the spoil with the proud. He that handleth a matter wisely shall find good, and whoso trusteth in the Lord, happy is he. The wise in heart shall be called prudent, and the sweetness of the lips increaseth learning. Understanding is a wellspring of life unto him that hath it, but the instruction of fools is folly. The heart of the wise teacheth his mouth, and addeth learning to his lips. Pleasant words are as an honeycomb, sweet to the soul, and health to the bones. There is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. He that laboureth, laboureth for himself, for his mouth craveth it of him. An ungodly man diggeth up evil, and in his lips there is as a burning fire. A froward man soweth strife, and a whisperer separateth chief friends. A violent man enticeth his neighbor, and leadeth him into the way that is not good.
He shutteth his eyes to devise froward things. Moving his lips, he bringeth evil to pass. The hoary head is a crown of glory, if it be found in the way of righteousness. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh a city. The lot is cast into the lap, but the whole disposing thereof is of the Lord. Proverbs 16 reminds us of God's sovereignty over human plans. Though we may design our steps, it is the Lord who directs our paths. It stresses humility as a safeguard against pride's inevitable downfall, and elevates wisdom and understanding above material riches. Righteousness, integrity, and peacemaking are shown as more valuable than power or wealth. The chapter also encourages careful speech, for pleasant and wise words bring life, while deceit and strife bring destruction. Ultimately, this passage teaches that surrendering our plans to God, walking humbly, and speaking with grace lead to honor, stability, and blessing.
Proverbs 17. Better is a dry morsel, and quietness therewith, than an house full of sacrifices with strife. A wise servant shall have rule over a son that causeth shame, and shall have part of the inheritance among the brethren. The fining pot is for silver, and the furnace for gold, but the Lord trieth the hearts. A wicked doer giveth heed to false lips, and a liar giveth ear to a naughty tongue. Whoso mocketh the poor reproacheth his Maker, and he that is glad at calamities shall not be unpunished. Children's children are the crown of old men, and the glory of children are their fathers. Excellent speech becometh not a fool, much less do lying lips a prince. A gift is as a precious stone in the eyes of him that hath it. Whithersoever it turneth, it prospereth. He that covereth a transgression seeketh love, but he that repeateth a matter separateth very friends. A reproof entereth more into a wise man than 100 stripes into a fool. An evil man seeketh only rebellion, therefore a cruel messenger shall be sent against him. Let a bear robbed of her whelps meet a man, rather than a fool in his folly. Whoso rewardeth evil for good, evil shall not depart from his house. The beginning of strife is as when one letteth out water. Therefore leave off contention, before it be meddled with. He that justifieth the wicked, and he that condemneth the just, even they both are abomination to the Lord. Wherefore is there a price in the hand of a fool to get wisdom, seeing he hath no heart to it? A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. A man void of understanding striketh hands, and becometh surety in the presence of his friend. He loveth transgression that loveth strife, and he that exalteth his gate seeketh destruction. He that hath a froward heart findeth no good, and he that hath a perverse tongue falleth into mischief. He that begetteth a fool doeth it to his sorrow, and the father of a fool hath no joy. A merry heart doeth good like a medicine, but a broken spirit drieth the bones. A wicked man taketh a gift out of the bosom to pervert the ways of judgment. Wisdom is before him that hath understanding, but the eyes of a fool are in the ends of the earth. A foolish son is a grief to his father, and bitterness to her that bare him. Also to punish the just is not good, nor to strike princes for equity. He that hath knowledge spareth his words, and a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise, and he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. Proverbs 17 speaks to the value of peace, wisdom, and integrity in relationships and daily living. It reminds us that quiet contentment is better than abundance with conflict, and that love often means covering faults rather than magnifying them. The chapter warns against injustice, gossip, rebellion, and arrogance, pointing to the fact that these sow destruction. In contrast, wisdom is marked by self-control, measured speech, and a heart that seeks good. Perhaps the most practical takeaway is that even silence can be wisdom. Those who listen more than they speak often reveal the depth of their understanding. Proverbs 18. Through desire, a man, having separated himself, seeketh and intermeddleth with all wisdom. A fool hath no delight in understanding, but that his heart may discover itself. When the wicked cometh, then cometh also contempt, and with ignominy reproach. The words of a man's mouth are as deep waters, and the wellspring of wisdom as a flowing brook. It is not good to accept the person of the wicked, to overthrow the righteous in judgment. A fool's lips enter into contention, and his mouth calleth for strokes. A fool's mouth is his destruction, and his lips are the snare of his soul. The words of a talebearer are as wounds, and they go down into the innermost parts of the belly. He also that is slothful in his work is brother to him that is a great waster. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. The rich man's wealth is his strong city, and as an high wall in his own conceit. Before destruction the heart of man is haughty, and before honor is humility. He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him. The spirit of a man will sustain his infirmity, but a wounded spirit who can bear? The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge. A man's gift maketh room for him, and bringeth him before great men. He that is first in his own cause seemeth just, but his neighbor cometh and searcheth him. The lot causeth contentions to cease, and parteth between the mighty. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor of the Lord. The poor useth entreaties, but the rich answereth roughly. A man that hath friends must show himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. Proverbs 18 teaches that words carry tremendous power, either to destroy or to heal. It warns against speaking before listening, against gossip, and against arrogance. Humility and patience, it says, lead to honor, while pride leads to ruin. The chapter also highlights that true security is not in wealth, but in the Lord Himself, who is a strong tower for those who trust Him. At its core, this proverb calls for careful speech, humble hearts, and deep value for relationships, reminding us that the right kind of friend can be even more steadfast than family. Proverbs 19.
Better is the poor that walketh in his integrity than he that is perverse in his lips and is a fool. Also, that the soul be without knowledge, it is not good, and he that hasteth with his feet sinneth. The foolishness of man perverteth his way, and his heart fretteth against the Lord. Wealth maketh many friends, but the poor is separated from his neighbor. A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall perish. A soul that sinneth, it shall die, and he that is proud in spirit shall find mercy. Hear counsel, and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. There are many devices in a man's heart, nevertheless the counsel of the Lord that shall stand. Better is the poor that walketh in his uprightness, than he that is perverse in his ways, though he be rich. The king's wrath is as the roaring of a lion, but his favor is as dew upon the grass. A servant that dealeth wisely shall have rule over a son that causes shame, and shall have part of the inheritance among the brethren. He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is hasty of spirit exalteth folly. The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge. A man of great wrath shall suffer punishment, for if thou deliver him, yet thou must do it again. Cease, my son, to hear the instruction that causeth to err from the words of knowledge. The soul of the sluggard desireth and hath nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat. A foolish son is a grief to his father, and bitterness to her that bare him. Houses and riches are the inheritance of fathers, and a prudent wife is from the Lord. Slothfulness casteth into a deep sleep, and the soul of the sluggard shall perish. Correct thy son, and he shall give thee rest, yea, he shall give delight unto thy soul. Proverbs 19 underscores the value of integrity, prudence, and diligence over wealth or status. The chapter repeatedly contrasts the poor but upright with the rich yet perverse, showing that moral character ultimately outweighs material gain. Patience, humility, and proper correction are highlighted as essential for personal growth and harmony within families. Slothfulness, pride, and hasty anger are consistently shown to bring ruin, while diligence, careful speech, and wise counsel lead to blessing and stability. This chapter continues the overarching theme that righteousness and wisdom form the foundation of a life that pleases God and benefits others.
Proverbs 20. Wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging, and whosoever is deceived thereby is not wise. The terror of a king is as the roaring of a lion. Whoso provoketh him to anger sinneth against his own soul. It is honor for a man to cease from strife, but every fool will be meddling. The slothful will not roast that which he took in hunting, but the substance of a diligent man is precious. Counsel in the heart of man is like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out. Most men will proclaim every one his own goodness, but a faithful man who can find? The just man walketh in his integrity. His children are blessed after him. A king that sitteth in the throne of judgment scattereth away all evil with his eyes. Who can say, I have made my heart clean, I am pure from my sin? Divers weights and divers measures, both of them are alike abomination to the Lord. Even a child is known by his doings, whether his work be pure and whether it be right. The hearing ear and the seeing eye, the Lord hath made even both of them. Love not sleep, lest thou come to poverty. Open thine eyes, and thou shalt be satisfied with bread. It is a snare to the man who devoureth that which is holy, and after vows to make enquiry. Divers weights are an abomination unto the Lord, and a false balance is not good. Man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? Proverbs 20 emphasizes the importance of integrity, diligence, and self-control. It warns against the folly of drunkenness, strife, and laziness, and highlights the value of honest measures and faithful conduct. The chapter also points to the sovereignty of God in human affairs. Though people may devise plans, ultimate guidance comes from the Lord. Wisdom is not only knowing what is right, but living in a way that honors God, protects oneself, and blesses others. It reminds us that diligence and righteousness are far more rewarding than shortcuts, deceit, or laziness. Proverbs 21. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. Every way of a man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord pondereth the hearts. To do righteousness and justice is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. The wicked is driven away in his wickedness, but the righteous hath hope in his death. The righteousness of the perfect shall direct his way, but the wicked shall fall by his own wickedness. The thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to the Lord, but the words of the pure are pleasant words. The performing of the righteous is life, but the fruit of the wicked is sin and death. The way of man is froward and strange, but as for the pure, his work is right. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and an angry woman. The soul of the wicked desireth evil. His neighbor findeth no favor in his eyes. When the wicked rise, men hide themselves, but when they perish, the righteous increase. The man that followeth after righteousness and mercy findeth life, righteousness, and honor. A wise man scaleth the city of the mighty, and casteth down the strength of the confidence thereof. Whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue keepeth his soul from troubles. The proud and haughty scorner stirreth up strife, but he that putteth his trust in the Lord shall be made fat. The slothful man saith, There is a lion without, I shall be slain in the streets. The diligent hand maketh rich, but the slothful hand maketh poverty. He that followeth after righteousness and mercy findeth life, righteousness, and honor. It is joy to the just to do judgment, but destruction shall be to the workers of iniquity. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall rest in the congregation of the dead. The soul of the wicked desireth evil. His neighbor findeth no favor in his eyes. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. Proverbs 21 emphasizes the sovereignty of God over human hearts and the importance of righteousness and integrity. It contrasts the fleeting and destructive nature of wickedness with the lasting hope and reward of the righteous. The chapter also underscores the value of humility, diligence, and self-control, showing that trust in God brings security and honor even in difficult circumstances. It is a reminder that human plans are subject to God's direction, and that walking in righteousness ultimately leads to life, stability, and peace. Proverbs 22. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. The rich and poor meet together. The Lord is the maker of them all. The prudent see evil and hide themselves, but the simple pass on and are punished. By humility and the fear of the Lord are riches and honor and life. Thorns and snares are in the way of the froward. He that doth keep his soul shall be far from them. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old he will not depart from it. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. He that soweth iniquity shall reap vanity, and the rod of his anger shall fail. He that hath a bountiful eye shall be blessed, for he giveth of his bread to the poor. Cast out the scorner, and contention shall go out, yea, strife and reproach shall cease. He that loveth pureness of heart, for the grace of his lips the king shall be his friend. The eyes of the Lord preserve knowledge, and he overthroweth the words of the transgressor. The slothful man saith, There is a lion in the way, a lion is in the streets. The mouth of strange women is a deep pit. He that is abhorred of the Lord shall fall therein. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want. He that soweth his land shall have plenty of bread, but he that followeth after vain persons shall have poverty enough. The crown of the prudent is their riches, but the foolishness of fools is folly. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. Proverbs 22 highlights the enduring value of a good name, wisdom, and moral integrity over material wealth. It stresses the importance of humility, diligence, and fair treatment of others, showing that God governs both rich and poor alike. Instruction and discipline, especially in raising children, are presented as key to lifelong wisdom. The chapter also warns against laziness, oppression, and the temptation of superficial gain, while emphasizing generosity and righteousness as paths to blessing and security. Proverbs 23. When thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, and put a knife to thy throat, if thou be a man given to appetite. Be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. Labor not to be rich, cease from thine own wisdom. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven. Eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. The morsel which thou hast eaten shalt thou vomit up, and lose thy sweet words. Speak not in the ears of a fool, for he will despise the wisdom of thy words. Remove not the old landmark, and enter not into the fields of the fatherless. For their Redeemer is mighty, he shall plead their cause against thee. Apply thine heart unto instruction, and thine ears to the words of knowledge. Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth. Let thy eyes look right on, and let thine eyelids look straight before thee. Ponder the path of thy feet,
and let all thy ways be established. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord, and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel, and marrow to thy bones. Honor the Lord with thy substance, and with the firstfruits of all thine increase. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. For whom the Lord loveth, he correcteth, even as a father the son in whom he delighteth. Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her. Length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to them that lay hold upon her, and happy is every one that retaineth her. Proverbs 23 warns against gluttony, greed, and the pursuit of wealth without wisdom. It stresses careful conduct, respect for others' property, and the value of instruction over self-confidence. The chapter elevates wisdom as more precious than silver or gold, providing life, peace, and honor to those who embrace it. The guidance blends practical advice for daily living with spiritual principles, reminding us that disciplined, God-fearing choices lead to lasting satisfaction and blessing.